Hello, so good afternoon, everybody. In light of the repeated shootings, in light of everything that has been going on in the black community for so long, it's time to take back the community. It's time to take back the community. Now, you know, yesterday in the video that I put out, I made the statement that the sheep will continue to just search for food and water as long as you don't slaughter too many of them. As long as and see, here's the thing. If this new murder of a man in his vehicle, black man in his vehicle by a cop, had happened 3 months from now, people would be outraged again, but the Alton situation would have died down by then. And then a new murder happens, and then we get riled up again. And then a new murder happens 6 months later, and we get riled up again. See, this time, what I'm proposing is a plan that I developed back in around 2011 or 2010. And I went to the churches and the mosques to try to get the churches and the mosques to do this, because I believe that if the spiritual centers don't do it, that it won't work in the black community, because we're so caught up into our spiritual centers and what they say and what they do that we won't act. You see, a lady came in the store today and she was talking about the fact that there's a rally downtown Atlanta tomorrow concerning everything that was going on, and that we need to show our faces. And then I've seen on Facebook where people are saying that we just need to pray, and we just need to pray, and we just need to pray. Now, I am not saying you should not pray, nor am I saying you should not show up at the rallies. What I am saying is that the difference between the rallies of today, the marches of today, and the marches that Malcolm and Martin were putting together is that there was after action. You know, if you're a consultant, you understand you go in the first time, but then after that, there's this thing called after work, when you're still there getting that money for the next 3, 4, 5 years. The problem is that we have marches today, but there's no after action. Now, although I blame myself for not going ahead back then in 2011 and committing to the program that I developed and getting people organized with me so that there is continuous action towards the development of black communities, I must do it now. So I apologize for not doing it then. I apologize for not standing my ground then. And just because I was rejected by most of the pastors, well, all of the pastors that I ever talked to, or they wanted to do some kind of bland version of it, I stopped. So I apologize, my black community, but I'm not going to stand by now. Back in 2011, I created a program called Community Take Back Program. Because one of the things that I realized, just like I said yesterday, that if we do not take control of our government, our laws, our police, our military, if we don't take control of our economics, if we don't take control of these things of our communities, then we will forever be coming to the table with an empty hand. You see, that's what we're doing now. We're coming to the table with an empty hand. Sure, there's outrage, but Facebook could shut down every video of a police officer killing somebody else, and you would never know it if Facebook shut it down, or if YouTube shut it down. If the media don't show it, you won't know. And they can do this, and they will get away with it in the black community, because why? We come with empty hands. You see, they don't do this in the Korean. If you go into Atlanta, to the Gwinnett area, in the Korean area, you do not see police mistreating Koreans, because the Koreans in that area do not come with empty hands. The Koreans in that area, the Asians in that area have financial power, and the politicians have to listen to them. You see, we're getting all riled up right now about, am I going to vote for Hillary? Am I, or Donald Trump's, or this, or a racist? I personally, maybe they haven't heard any one of them saying anything about what's going on. I haven't heard Obama or any other representative making a big, and I'm talking about a representative with power, making any statements and then doing something, action. See, you can talk all day, but you got to commit to some action. Now, if you've seen any of my videos I've shot before, I've always talked about you got to execute with action. Here's the deal. It's time to execute with action. Now, I can't wait for anybody else, and I'm not waiting for Hillary, and I'm not waiting for Trump, and I'm not waiting for any mayor or congressman or anything like that. The only thing I'm waiting for right now is me, and I'm not waiting on me. So here's the deal, people. There's a program I created called Community Take Back Group. It's very simple. We begin to take back our communities by infiltrating the areas of power. It's now, and understand, this is not we start today and everything changes tomorrow. This is long term. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have to give up on one of my greatest desires that I've ever had, that I currently have right now, one of my goals in order to do this. One of my goals is that when my son graduates high school in the next 4 years, well, in 3 years, that I was leaving this country. I wanted to go live somewhere else. And not because I was running from anything. It's just I want to explore. But my kids will still be in America, and my grandkids in the future will still be in America. So I have to take a stand now. And that may mean that I have to be in this country for the next 40 years. And if that's how it is, that's just how it has to be. And I'm willing to give that up. The question is, what are you willing to give up? Most of you only have to give up some time. Most of you only have to give up how you live your life. My company used to be in Decatur, but I'm going to be honest with you. I did not get the black support that I thought I would get. So when my lease was up, I moved to Marietta, where I'm home. At least if I'm home, whether I get the black support or not, it doesn't matter. And for anybody who's white who's listening to this, understand, I'm not excluding you. There is an inclusion for you as well, because what white people need to understand is that we are all of the same body. If you're in America, you're of the same body. And if the black community is the arm, and that black community and that arm has gangrene, then that gangrene will eventually spread to the entire body. Now, unfortunately, as if a body, you can't chop off your arm. You can't chop off the black people in America. We're here. But if you allow this to continue, it will affect your neighborhood. If you don't believe me, look at the AIDS epidemic. It started in one community, but now it's spread to every community. Look at the drug epidemic. It started in one community, now it's and now it has spread. And I know there are theories and conspiracy theories and truth of government interaction to spread and start these diseases to spread and start the drug epidemic in the black community. But guess what? If you're white, you need to understand that it will eventually get to your community. Look at how many of white kids are emulating the black community. It will get to your community. So the violence that you see now in the black community will eventually get to your community. So if you do not recognize that and begin to stand, then you will find yourself in the same situation. So this is just not a black-white thing. In truth, this is an economic power thing. So what I'm going to propose. Now, I know most of you can, some of you can come here. I just noticed one person who got online on this one. She's in Texas, so I know she can't be here on Saturday. But Saturday morning at 10 o'clock at my store here, because we have space. That's the only reason it's here. Come here. I want to see who's interested in beginning and being partnered with me for this community take back group. The real reason, and here, I'm going to give you a synopsis of how it works. Basically, the group is designed to create economic empowerment in the black community. And with that economic empowerment, the business leaders in that community, they have an obligation. Their obligation is that they will support the black community. Their obligation is that they will hire from the black community. Their obligation is that they will mentor the youth of the black community so that those kids, and it's not that everybody has to become an entrepreneur, but if I got a young man and he wants to become a police officer, I need to mentor him into becoming a police officer, what type of police officer he should be, and then how they get inside and then become a detective and then become the chief of police. You see, if we are the chief of police, if we are the police in our communities, then these things, they drop drastically. If we are the police in our community, then there's more care in our community. If we're the firemen in our community, if we're the ambulatory service, if we're the doctors, the lawyers. So it's not all about entrepreneurship. It's about infiltrating all areas of power within the community. And we also have to come in league with one another. We come in league with one another by the banks, the black banks working with the black businesses, by the black shopper. Now, here's one thing that's going to be the most difficult is to get the black shopper. You know, it's amazing we could have a black Wall Street during the time frame of segregation, but we can't get a black Wall Street now, mainly because black people are we don't want to inconvenience ourselves to go shop with one another, yet we just want to go 5 minutes down the street or around the corner. We want to run to the McDonald's that's right there. We have to go out of our way for a while until and that's the purpose of this community take back. We have to build our communities. We have to build it where your nail salon is in your community that's owned by somebody who looks like you. And here's the thing about that. If you are of another race and you're in the black community, but you are supporting that community, then I don't have a problem with you being a part of this group, because that way at least you are part of the community that you're taking money from, and you're engaging, you're part of the school system, you're part of the educational process. And that's another area we have to increase our education process beyond what's in the school. You got to show up for the PTAs, right? You got to show up. You got to be there. You got to be an integral part of your child's development, of every school's development, if it's in your purview. And it's not for the lazy people. And here's the thing about it. If 5 people are doing it, a 6th person will follow. And then if 6 people are doing it, a 7th and 8th person will follow. Momentum happens. But in order for momentum happens, those first few have to go out there and get started. And this is not just going to be just business owners. We have to also get in league with the good police officers in our community. We have to support the good police officers in our community. Now, good police officers. I've only seen one police officer come out and speak about any of these incidents. Just one. I'm reminded of how when 9/11 happened, there was a huge clamor of people saying, where are the good Muslims who are speaking against this travesty? Where are the good police officers who are speaking against this? Who are at least have some type of commentary? Look, I was in the Marine Corps. I understand the code. I had a code in the Marine Corps. But if somebody broke the rules of the Marine Corps, if somebody broke the principles, if you broke the honor of the Marine Corps, if you dishonored my Corps, I will call you out. I have no issue with that, because then you are not my brother, because you are not acting in kind. So I do have a question of where's that? Where's the outpouring? I understand the blue shield, the blue code, whatever it's called, but look, you got to call a spade a spade. Just like right now, I'm calling a spade a spade. As the black community, we want somebody else to come in and fix it. Nobody's going to come in and fix it if you don't fix it. It's just like if I have an employee in here, they won't care about my business until I first show them that I care about them. So why would anybody come and care about your community if you don't show that you care? And that's the purpose of this community take back program, is to develop care within the community. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Hebrew, it doesn't matter your religion, because at the end of the day, nobody asks that question when you're being abused or oppressed. The only thing that's being done is you're being abused or oppressed. But we gotta come to the table with something in our hand. You see, Martin and Malcolm came to the table with people behind them who they knew if they said, we will boycott your industries, it would take money out of the oppressor's hand. And then that way, they listened. You see, Kennedy and Johnson, they were afraid of them. It's not so much that they just wanted to help them out. They were afraid of them because they knew the power that they had, because they had economic power, they had voting power, they had those types of power. They also, now imagine if you had that kind of leadership today. Not only could you have economic power and voting power, but you can also have infiltration power. That is the thing that's missing as well. That was missing from them that we have now. We can now infiltrate the hospitals. We can infiltrate the government. We can infiltrate the police department, the fire department. We can infiltrate all areas of power within the community where we make decisions. We have black banks, and I'm telling you right now, the bankers I have now, I appreciate everything you've ever done for me. But I will be moving all my accounts to a black bank. I will be moving it. It will take me less than a week, but I will move all my accounts to a black bank. All right? Because I'm not going to talk this nonsense and then don't do it myself. I'm not going to talk about this and not do it. But like I said, on Saturday, please spread this word. On Saturday, I will divulge more of this community take back program that I created in 2011. If you want to come on board, be here at 2520 East Piedmont Road, Suite 122 in Marietta at 10 o'clock on Saturday. If I'm the only one who shows up, then I'll do it myself. And if you are interested, I will Facebook Live it for those who are not here, because I have no problem with you starting something similar in your city. I am not for ego. I am not for ego at all. This is all for community. It's all for community. So, like I said, 10 o'clock Saturday, community take back program. Let's take back. We got to get economic power. We have to get we have to take over our educate. We got to get educational power, and we have to start infiltrating all the government powers that have the ability to determine what goes on in our neighborhoods. I mean, we need to be in control of the school boards, in control of the city council, in control of the police departments in our neighborhoods. And if we're not in control of them, we need to have enough economic power that we can determine how we are going to be treated. All right, because we come to the table with an empty hand right now. We have to replenish, and I say replenish because there was a time that we had something in our hand, but we have to replenish what's been in our hand, because over the last 30 years we've lost it. But I will take it as my own personal journey, my own personal mission to do so. So I look forward to seeing you guys. Please share this, join us, and I will do as much as I can based on the amount of money I have right now. And as I increase in finances, we will do more and more and more to increase the power base of the communities that's suffering. And you know, I have no problems with anybody joining in. I'm not blind to say or narrow-minded to say that this is just for black people. If you're white, you want to show up, come on. If you're Asian, you want to show up, come on. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Male, female, doesn't matter. You know, Jew, Gentile, whatever, doesn't matter. You know, it's about people, and it's about growth, and it's about protection. Y'all have a great day. Your greatness is non-negotiable, and so is mine.